We've got breaking news out of college football where Auburn is hiring South Florida's Alex Golesh as their next head coach. That is the latest from our Brandon Marcello and Matt Zenitz. Golesh has spent the last 3 seasons at USF, winning just over 60% of his games, including a 9-3 record this season. He'll take over an Auburn team that has posted 4 straight losing seasons for the first time since 1950. The Tigers have not posted double-digit wins in a single season since 2017. Let's welcome in Brandon Marcello to help react to this news. And first off, Brandon, Golesh has been tied to other jobs as early as this week. There's been other names circling around Auburn, but how did this come together today?
Well, it was one of those situations where Tulane coach John Summerall had been in heavy discussions with Auburn for the better part of the last 2 weeks. And then on Thursday, I was told those communications broke down for whatever reason. And about that time is when we started hearing that Florida was not really in the race for Lane Kiffin. So John Summerall kind of moving the deck chairs here a little bit, going out to the Florida Gators potentially here over the next day or two, which could be coming very soon. And so this opened the door for an Alex Golesh to potentially land elsewhere. Alex Golesh was also a name that was popping up at Ole Miss as a possibility. And if you remember earlier this week, there were reports that Alex Golesh was the top target at Arkansas. There were even reports about the contract offer, about a 5-year deal there worth $7 million a year. And yet that, for some reason, has gone to the wayside, and now he's landing in Auburn, and then you're seeing Arkansas naming a coach. I always say this, always watch the timing of all this stuff. We had a very quick succession of announcements or things leaking about head coaches being hired at some of these schools, but it tells you how quickly things can change in the coaching carousel, even down to the last minute in the 11th hour, because the last 24 to 48 hours have been crazy, and we're seeing some coaches pop up at some jobs where they probably wouldn't have 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, you mentioned the timing of all of this and everything kind of happening behind the scenes. What does Auburn gain from wrapping this up now and having their head coach settled before more changes happen in this carousel?
Well, the high school signing period's obviously coming up. Transfer portal's coming up in January, and Auburn's presented a package here where they're going to spend $30 million potentially or more on NIL and revenue sharing here going in the future. And so this gives them the ability to go out in the transfer portal and go get some big guys. More importantly, now Alex Golesh can come in and say, here, this is what my offense is going to look like. You know, this is what my defense is going to look like. Now, the offense is obviously going to look very much like what you see with Josh Heupel at Tennessee. Alex Golesh is one of his people. So you're going to be able to go sell that to some of those receivers there. So, for example, a Cam Coleman, who is someone that was maybe to watch here to potentially enter the transfer portal, because they've got like a top 5 type receiving core there. Alex Golesh comes in, all of a sudden, this is the type of offensive receiver you might go, I want to stick around. So Alex Golesh can work on them here over the next month before that transfer portal opens.
You mentioned his time as an offensive coordinator at Tennessee in 2022, orchestrating the #1 offense in the country, averaging 46 points per game. So with that being said, what do you think about the fit for Auburn here in Alex Golesh?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. You usually see coaching searches when you get rid of someone, they go the opposite direction. But for a 3rd straight time here, Auburn has gone with an offensive coach. I thought they might go more defensive here in this cycle, which fit the terms there of John Summerall at Tulane. But again, those talks broke down Thursday. So they had to move on and move quickly. And Alex Golesh was one of those hot names that was popping up at 2 other places, Arkansas and Ole Miss. So Auburn wins out that sweepstakes, and he's a big-time offensive guy. That'll excite the fans, I'm sure, especially when they start looking at, you know, the film of the type of players he brings in and the type of offense he runs and all the points they score. It'll be interesting to see kind of what his plans are defensively. You know, the talk over the last several weeks, and John Cohen, the athletics director there at Auburn, has mentioned, I would like DJ Durkin, the interim head coach and defensive coordinator, to stick around on the upcoming staff. So I wonder if Golesh will give that serious consideration, and maybe we see DJ Durkin just return once again there at Auburn to call plays.
Marcello, you know better than anybody, alignment is always a word that comes up when talking about Auburn coaching and their behind the scenes, all the boosters and everything that is with this program. So what sense are you getting of how aligned they are on this new hire?
Well, I don't know how the boosters and everybody kind of view it at this moment, but I will say this search was conducted solely by their athletics director, John Cohen. He didn't take a lot of outside feedback from anybody other than some people he really trusted in the industry. He wasn't taking calls from boosters and going, hey, who do you want to hire? Nothing along those lines. In fact, John Cohen, who previously hired Hugh Freeze there at Auburn just a few years ago, handled that situation very similarly. He did not take any outside feedback. Things have changed a little bit at Auburn from the standpoint of the booster culture there is not necessarily having a direct effect on who's hired. Now, they can have an effect on whether a coach gets fired down the line. But John Cohen, the athletics director there, has been pretty much given carte blanche to do what he wants. And this time, he lands on Alex Golesh.
And there you have it, Brandon Marcello. Appreciate all the feedback and information as it pertains to this breaking news that Auburn has hired their next head coach in Alex Golesh. So this is an updated look at the coaching carousel. Names are starting to get filled out today. Arkansas and Auburn filling their vacancies. Ryan Silverfield to Fayetteville, Alex Golesh on the Plains. And just happening minutes ago, John Summerall will accept the position at Florida. We will continue to keep you updated on the latest hires and talk about that move for the Gators next here on HQ.